The grand ballroom shimmered with gold and crystal. Chandeliers threw fragments of light across the marble floor, reflecting on gowns worth more than a common man's lifetime savings. The elite of London had gathered that night: politicians, socialites, and most importantly, Ethan Blackwell, the man whose name made investors tremble and competitors surrender. Ethan was known for two things: his ruthless business sense and his colder-than-ice heart. The tabloids called him the Steel Millionaire. Employees whispered stories about him firing people for being 5 minutes late. No one dared to challenge him. Until Elena Rivers did. She stood near the entrance, her simple blue dress a stark contrast to the sea of glittering designer outfits. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from anger long suppressed. She wasn't invited here, she had walked in with a purpose that burned brighter than fear itself. 3 months ago, her father, a loyal employee of Blackwell Industries for 25 years, had been thrown out without warning. No severance, no pension, nothing. He died 2 weeks later of a heart attack. The stress, the shame, had killed him. Elena vowed that one day, she'd look Ethan Blackwell in the eye and make him face what he'd done. As the orchestra's final note faded, Ethan raised his glass to speak. "Tonight," he began, "we celebrate another successful year. Successful for you," a voice cut through the silence. Heads turned. The crowd parted like the Red Sea. Elena walked toward him, every step echoing across the hall. Her heart pounded, but her voice was steady. "You call it success when you destroy lives," she said, her eyes locked on his. "When you throw people away like they're nothing." Ethan blinked, visibly thrown off. "And who are you to speak to me this way?" "I'm Elena Rivers," she said. "Daughter of Thomas Rivers. The man you fired without a second thought." A ripple of whispers spread through the room. Cameras turned. Socialites froze, unsure whether to leave or watch the scandal unfold. Ethan's jaw tightened. "If you have something to say, say it privately." "No," she said. "You did this in front of everyone, humiliated my father, destroyed his reputation. Now you'll hear the truth in front of everyone too." For the first time in years, Ethan Blackwell had no words. Elena continued, her voice trembling with passion. "My father gave you everything: his time, his loyalty, his health. And when he got sick, you replaced him with someone half his age because he wasn't fast enough anymore. He died because of your cruelty." The silence was suffocating. Even the waiters had stopped moving. Ethan's expression shifted, from anger, to discomfort, to something she couldn't name. "You think money makes you powerful," she said, her voice rising. "Real power is compassion, something you've forgotten long ago." Before he could respond, she turned and walked out, her head high, her tears hidden. Part 2, The Transformation. For weeks after that night, the media exploded. Mystery woman confronts millionaire Ethan Blackwell. Public showdown leaves Blackwell speechless. Elena's life changed overnight. Some called her brave, others called her foolish, but she didn't care. She'd said what she came to say. Then one morning, a black car stopped in front of the tiny bookshop where she worked. A man in a suit stepped out. "Miss Rivers," he said. "Mr. Blackwell wishes to speak with you." Elena froze. "Tell him I have nothing to say." The man hesitated. "Please, miss. He insists." Against her better judgment, she agreed. The car took her to a penthouse that looked out over the Thames, sleek, cold, and silent, just like its owner. Ethan stood by the window, hands in his pockets. Gone was the confident businessman. He looked human. "Thank you for coming," he said quietly. "I know I'm the last person you wanted to see." "You're right about that," she said sharply. "What do you want?" He turned to face her. "To apologize." Elena blinked. "Apologize? From you? I deserve your disbelief," he said, his voice low. "When you spoke that night, I wanted to throw you out. But I couldn't. Because every word you said was true." She stared at him, trying to find the lie. "You think one apology fixes everything?" "No," he said. "But it's a start." He walked toward his desk and picked up a folder. "This is for you, your father's full pension, with interest, and a foundation in his name. For workers like him who gave everything and got nothing back." Elena's throat tightened. She wanted to hate him. She should have hated him. But something in his eyes, regret, pain, sincerity, made it impossible. "Why now?" she asked softly. "Why care now?" He hesitated. Because that night, for the first time in years, someone looked at me and saw what I'd become. And I couldn't stand it. Their eyes met, and in that silence, something fragile formed between them, understanding. Over the following weeks, they met again. First for charity work, then for discussions about the foundation, then, just coffee. Ethan began showing sides no one knew existed. He laughed. He listened. He cared. Elena saw the man behind the steel armor, the boy who had grown up poor, desperate never to feel powerless again. His cruelty had been his shield. Now it was breaking. One rainy evening, as they stood under the same umbrella, she whispered, "You're changing, Ethan." He looked at her and said, "You changed me." That night, he kissed her, softly, hesitantly, as if asking permission to feel again. She didn't pull away. Months passed. The once cruel millionaire became the man who donated half his wealth to the Thomas Rivers Foundation. He closed deals with fairness, not fear. And beside him stood the woman who had dared to face him when no one else did. At the next gala, Ethan took the stage again. The same ballroom, the same chandeliers, but a different man. This year, he said, his eyes finding Elena in the crowd, success means something else. It means redemption. It means love. The crowd erupted in applause, but Ethan saw only her. When he stepped down, he took her hand in front of everyone and said, "I once thought no one could challenge me. Then you did, and you stole my heart forever." Tears filled her eyes as the crowd cheered. The cruel millionaire was gone. In his place stood a man who had finally learned how to love. And the woman who had faced him became the reason his heart beat again.